Hey, what's up people? My name's MC Zani and I'm a human beatboxer. If you don't know what human beatboxing is, it's all music that comes from the mouth like this. 1, 2, 3 or 4 for hit it. So I started beatboxing when I was about 14 years old, and I've always been around music. My dad was a musician, so he's from Mauritius, so there was always good music in the house. And my mum being from Philippines, there was always a big blend and lots of musical atmosphere in the house. There was lots of instruments and it was a really great vibe to be in. Big inspirations for me growing up, people like Bob Marley, his lyrics and his passion and for what he believed in, that was a big influence to me. Growing up, I didn't really know what it was, what he was talking about, and it's only until you kind of listen to his music over and over again, you realise that he stood for a powerful message. There's other people like Talib Kweli, who's a conscious MC. He talks about a lot of current issues and current affairs that are going around the world. Obviously, you've got people like Michael Jackson, there's like Busta Rhymes, Tupac. And in terms of beatboxers, there's loads of amazing beatboxers now. Reaps One, people in my crew, the Beatbox Collective, loads of people like Alem, who's a current world champion. But it wasn't until I was about 14 when I discovered beatboxing. I heard a guy called Razel, and I was always kind of making little noises because of my dad being a musician, but I didn't know it was called beatboxing. But Razel was a pioneer of the beatbox scene. He used to be a beatboxer for a hip hop group called The Roots, and he's what brought beatboxing from the side stage into the center stage. Because up until that point, beatboxing was always just known as a side gimmick, like you would beatbox at a party or you would beatbox when someone's rapping or breakdancing, but he's really what brought it to the center stage. And he was really famous for a piece called If Your Mother Only Knew, when he sang and beatboxed at the same time. And that's what really inspired me. So growing up being a teenager, 14, 15, 16, 17, I was an MC on pirate radio stations, MCing to garage music, and I used to incorporate a little bit of beatboxing in the set. And then doing some live little local shows with DJs and stuff, I used to kind of beatbox a little bit. And then it kind of progressed until someone said to me and goes, "Oh, do you want to come and do a beatbox show?" And I was like, okay, cool. And not really knowing much of it, it was still just a hobby. And then after that, it just kind of progressed even more and more. People were saying, "Oh, you're really good at beatboxing. Why don't you try and do it more and more?" So I started performing more locally at other shows, and then working with other groups, meeting other rappers, and then it just kind of took off from there. And now I'm working with loads of amazing artists, Jay Sean, Foreign Beggars. I'm part of a group called the Beatbox Collective, and we're now currently the world champions. So it's been an amazing journey and progression, and yeah, it's been awesome. Cool. So one of the biggest highlights of my career, I think, is when I went on tour with Jay Sean to Australia in 2010. And also on that tour, it was Akon, Pitbull, Kelly Rowland, Eve, and Sean Paul. And we were all on the same plane together going around Australia for like 2 weeks and doing massive arena shows. And at the time, I guess, it was amazing, but I guess I didn't realize how amazing it was until looking back at it from now. It was just such good fun. Everybody was really cool, and you kind of share a bond. And those memories will kind of stick for me for the rest of my life. Another big highlight, I guess, is performing at Madison Square Garden in New York. That was a huge highlight for me. And there's lots of different highlights, but those two kind of stick out for me a lot. The most valuable lesson I've learned in this journey is just sticking for what you're doing. Because over the years, there's been so many people that were like, "What are you doing? What's beatboxing? That's not a real job. Get a real job." Like even my mum at one point, she used to come from traditional Filipino family. She was like, "What the hell is beatboxing? What are you doing?" And it wasn't until I won the championships in 2008 and the prize was a car, so I gave her the car, and then she kind of like, actually, okay, it does seem like you can get somewhere with it. And there was a lot of sacrifices. I did gigs for free for like 5 years just to build up a reputation, and you've really got to grind. So when I started, there was no Facebook, there was no social media really, so I kind of did it a really hard way. And you've got to really trust the people that are around you and move around circles of people who you really feel will benefit you. If there's people that are bringing you down or they're not really bringing anything positive in your life, then they're probably not the people you should be sticking around with. There's loads of people right now that I hang around with, and they really elevate me and they really motivate me to be a better person and a better artist. and helped me grow. And I think it's important, because if you're stuck in a certain way, then you're not really gonna grow as an artist and as a person. So the Ultimate Artist Development Program is important because it just allows you to be free and express yourself in every way you can creatively. So whether that be if you're a singer, you can songwrite. If you're a producer, produce, and so on and so on. And I think that's important to have that freedom, and because if you're restricted, you don't really have much scope to develop and grow. And I think what this program's bringing is encouraging people to just try something, and don't be afraid to make a mistake, and don't be afraid to get it wrong, because there's no wrong or right. It's just, at the end of the day, it's expression, and what you're trying to do is develop as an individual artist, and not trying to copy what other people are doing. And I think that's important nowadays, to have your own unique selling point and not follow the crowd. Right now, people I'm listening to, Anderson .Paak. He is killing it. If you don't know who he is, he's an amazing singer, kind of slash rapper, drummer. He's very musical. His album's amazing. It's very soul-y, very funky, kind of even a bit Jamiroquai-esque maybe, of one or two tracks. But he's amazing. Who else am I listening to? I can't think off the top of my head. There's a producer, if you like, for all my producers out there, there's an amazing producer from Australia called Goldwater, and he is sick. You check out his SoundCloud, Goldwater. There's another 14-year-old producer from Canada, I think. His name's Ordinary Youngster, spelt not like you would spell ordinary, but O-D-R-N-Y or something like that. But he's an amazing producer. He's only 14 years old, and he's really pushing the boundaries for his knowledge and how much he understands music. Tennyson as well, they're two producers from Canada. They're very young as well. I think they're like 20, 21, but they're amazing. Like, you can really hear their musicality. I always love discovering new music. I think it's important to keep elevating yourself and keep pushing yourself and motivating yourself. So they're the three I can think of off the top of my head. What's next for me is, well, in a few days I'll be heading to Denmark for a show with my crew, the Beatbox Collective. It's an a cappella festival, and we're headlining one of the days and also doing some workshops out there. Also, festival season's coming, so we'll be at Glastonbury. We've got like 4 or 5 shows at Glastonbury. You've got Shambhala. There's some festival. It's an amazing festival as well. It's a smaller festival, but it's really such a good vibe. A bit more spiritual, a bit more kind of musical, world music. Workshops, a lot of teaching workshops. Touring with Jay Sean, doing V-Fest as well, I think in August. And that, if you want more information, you can get my Instagram, MC_Zani, or Twitter, MC_Zani. And yeah, follow it. Yo, this is MC Zani. Ultimate Artists. Peace.